Good afternoon, everyone. It's just a pleasure to have you present today during my presentation for my Capstone class. And today we're going to talk about the findings of the problem of employment training, the lack of employment and training, and the lack of resources that are available for people who are trying to get their lives together. Many times you find people that are able to find a job, able to keep a job, but there are other resources that are other situations in their lives that they need to be resolved. And today we come to pull those things together and to bring the findings of those problems and let you know that there is an answer to every problem that exists with a person that is trying to get their lives together with employment and training. The title of this project is Implementing Training Programs and Workshops Development, Job Readiness Development. As you may know, the unemployment rate right now in Arkansas is about 12%. And filing benefits or unemployment benefits alone is just not the answer. It's just not the full answer. Victims of unemployment are not always responsible for the layoffs that they are a part of. Business owners and stockholders have to survive also, and many times they reduce the employment rate for some people because they need to be able to eat as well. However, the unskilled worker, there is the unskilled worker that we have to consider, and training is essential for that. In today's economy, the uncertainty that the employers find themselves dealing with makes it kind of hard for them to carry the whole load. So they'll employ a person for a small amount of time and then they'll have to lay them off and then hire another group of people just to spread the wealth. That's beautiful, but for the person that has to get laid off, it's not a good idea. So that's just one of the reasons that you have your unemployment rate so frequently and so large of a number is because of that reason. The workforce centers for years, I mean, it goes back all the way until the 30s. They work together with businesses to give loans and to give opportunities for unskilled laborers to receive the training that they need. So they gave loans to small businesses in the states to accommodate that situation. Years of research show that when all of the nonprofit and profit agencies work together, we can find answers for everyone, and that's what we're doing right now. We're working in the offices and make sure that we get everybody to work together and then go out and send the resources that, give the resource information that's available for them right now. Now, for example, a person comes in the office and they have the job, but they just have to move into an apartment. Well, the apartment is wonderful, they got the key, but they don't have the furniture yet. The furniture is coming later. Well, there are resources out there like Manna Center, different churches, the Genesis House, that can provide a service for them to help them get the furniture that they need, even if there's a deposit that they need for that particular situation. They can get that resource. So they have the job, they have the house or the apartment, and then they have the other resources that they need to make sure that they'll have a good place to live and be accommodated. So when we talk about workforce and small businesses and nonprofits working together, that's how it looks. Partnership works. Now this is a picture of the workforce office when we moved into our new facility. And all of these people are business owners, nonprofit directors and executive directors for other agencies that came together to tell us that the years of work that we've done in the past together, they're coming to support us on anything that we need to do from that day forward. And that was in 2010. And they have been so vital and so wonderful in working with us. And we just wanted to include that picture to let you know when partnership works, it looks like this. The workforce office that we have here at Siloam Springs includes the DWS and the WIA. The DWS is Department of Workforce Services, and they mainly handle the unemployment side of the fence. Then you have WIA, and that's the Workforce Investment Act. That's the department that I work for. And when we worked together, when we were in our old building, we had the unemployment office over here and our office was over here. So whenever a person would finish with their unemployment, they would come over and get the services that we had available. Now that we're all in the same building, it's kind of difficult for us to get the people sent to the right direction. And so that's one of the findings that we saw whenever we started documenting the people that came into our office. They would come in, they would do the unemployment, but they were not directed to the other services that we had in place. And those were one of the problems that we wanted to resolve. So when a client comes into the office, they come in for either two reasons. Initially, unemployment and employment. Okay, in order for all customers to receive the resources needed to secure employment and training, the receptionist has to ask the right questions and make sure that the client is directed to the menu. The menu that we have listed is job service, assistance, unemployment, filing, job readiness workshops that we offer, skills assessment. Now these skills assessments are given to a person that comes in and says, I want to work, but I have no idea what kind of job I want. And so with those assessments that we can schedule for them, we're able to find out what direction they should go in. And then we have on-the-job training for people that have poor skills. And these are some of the ways that we can allow them to get the skills that they need. And of course, the resource room, I tell clients many times, I say, this is your office. The only thing that you have to do is sign in. And any service that you get while you're here, just check it off each time you use them. So you have the computers, the copier, fax machine, telephone. They have scholarships that are available, job training opportunities, internet, online applications, anything that they need, we can provide for them. Plus, a wall full of brochures and information about other resources that are available to them. And then business owners, when they come in, they can place their job orders free of charge, refer applicants to other jobs. We do mass application processes where we allow them to come in and use our facilities to conduct interviews. And we assess job seeker skills and abilities so we can match them with the companies that are looking for employees. And then we have labor market information. And many times that information is important because when a company wants to move in our area, they need to know the amount of people that are looking for work, the type of people that you have to do the jobs, and the pay rate that these jobs will require. So all of that information is available on our site, and the site that I'm talking about is the Arkansas JobLink site. And then you have your job labor posters that we have available as well, and our career readiness testing. I don't know if you are familiar with that, but the career readiness allows a company to see the results of a person that has taken a test for locating information, math, English, and reading ability. And that will allow the company to, the HR department to know if they put a person in this job based on the results of this assessment, will that person be able to do that job? And 9 times out of 10, they will. Now, the downside of that assessment is you have a person that's willing to work and they have a few little issues, but you tell them what to do and they can do the job. So does that person not get offered the job because they didn't pass that assessment? That's the debate. And that's one of the areas that we're trying to correct. When the plan works correctly, workforce staff will assist the customer with their initial services. At this point, customers become clients and the process continues. If the client has the need for other resources, like we said before, they are directed to the resource specialist who will have them complete an initial intake form. That initial intake form is basically asking them a series of questions about their work situation. Where have you worked the most? What area of employment did you work in the most? Do you think that you need any skill training? All of these questions that will let that person know, okay, you need to make a referral here. You need to make sure that they take the assessments that they need. go to a resume workshop, a career readiness workshop, all of those things that are available. And that initial intake form will allow that person to know what services the client needs to have. And barriers, some of the barriers that you will find out on this initial intake form is, do they have need for transportation, child care, elder care? Because nowadays, people are taking care of their parents and grandparents. And so all of these things can cause that person to lose their job if they have to deal with these situations. So if we can get all of that stuff resolved before they get into the job, then we know that retention rate will be much higher. And so in addition to that, we also, after a series of questions, find out about any disabilities that they might have that will prevent them from getting a job, because we have a partnership with Arkansas Rehab that comes to our office on Fridays, and they meet with clients and find out any problems. They send people to school, they help them find jobs, and they help them find secure jobs so that, you know, if a person just goes off the street and just apply for a job, they'll get criticized for any problems that they may have that will come up, you know, on that job that will be protected if they will go through Arkansas Rehab, because it will be initially understood that this is a disability and these are some of the problems that you may incur while they're here. So they'll look over that, and plus they'll have an employment coach to go with them and to come out and just make sure everything is okay. They even go to the point of where they shadow that individual depending on the severity of their disability, and be with them for about a month to make sure that they know what they're doing, and then they'll, you know, pull back, and gradually they'll just not come back, and that person can do the job themselves. You know, like I say in the office many times, sometimes a person can go on the computer, find a job, get the interview, do the whole 9 yards, and not have a problem at all. Then you have people that's on the other side of that spectrum that they are terrified of computers. And when they come in our office, they should be able to get the training that they need to operate a computer. That's hands-on, one-on-one training for that individual to be able to feel comfortable. Because there's some companies that will have a person get on a computer, ask about the operation of their computer. I don't know how to do this and I don't know how to do that. What do I do next? They'll let that person complete that entire application, and then at the end, they'll delete it off the system because they didn't know how to use a computer. And if they had all of those questions about a computer, then they'll have all those questions once they get hired, and they just don't have time for that. So if we could resolve some of those problems and get some of that fear away from them while they're in there, that's another resource that's available to people. So once we find out the initial intake and all of the information, then the preparation begins. You have your job readiness workshops that we offer. We have guest speakers that come in from different companies that are able to speak to a person about how this company works, what kind of employees we're looking for. And out of that picture where you see the guest speaker, that was a Simmons representative that came in, and out of the group, he hired about 5 people right on the spot. And that's the kind of partnership that we like. And then, it's a matter of fact, I got a call from another local company that we've been trying to come in to do our next job readiness workshop. She said, I'm available. You just choose the date and we'll set everything up. As a matter of fact, she's ready to come next week. I said, well, give me some time to pull your audience together so we can have people that would really benefit from that job. So that's going to be our next project, and I'm pretty excited about that. Then you have sometimes when you're resolving barriers, you're talking about a person that may not have a GED or may have a problem reading and retaining. Well, we have a partnership with the GED programs, and we send people over there and get their GED, and then they can either go to college or just go straight to a job, but they'll have that high school diploma that they weren't able to get before because they had to drop out of school to take care of family. That happens so much in different places until everybody deserves an opportunity to get them education. And then you have your employment resource and advisors. This is a group of young ladies, including myself, that work one-on-one with clients to make sure that we send them to school or find out if there's any trainings that are available for them and give them those resources. So kudos to that group of young ladies, in addition to a whole lot of other people. And I couldn't put everybody in the PowerPoint presentation because it would just be an astronomical, but we have people across the state of Arkansas. Plus we work with other agencies in other parts of the state and the United States. A person may travel and decide that they want to go back home to Texas, or they want to do, we make referrals to that workforce office. Let them know that this person is coming in town. Make sure that they have all of the resources that they need in that next place that they have to go. So that's the kind of work that we want to do when we talk about implementing training in workshops and resources. We want to have the whole bottom line together. And then you have a lot of people that are ESL and they can't speak English, and they need to be able to, you know, read. So you would be surprised how many people can't get a job because they just don't know how to read the signs that may say dangerous product or whatever. So we refer that group of people to the board members and to the ESL group, and we have one right here. David is right here right now with us, and I just want to thank him for the services that he's provided for the ESL students all these years, and making sure that we work and the board provides making sure that we have the right materials. If we don't have the right materials or anything that's needed, you report it to that board, and they will make sure that they get all the resources that you need in that area.
My name is Penny, and for the last 3 months I have been working with workforce and with Rose, trying to get a job, trying to get a house. I've been living in a hotel for 5 months, and with the resources that have been given to me, I've recently moved into an apartment, got a car, and everything is just going according to plan. I do have a job. The rental agency has given me a job to clean houses for them, so that's a good thing. Oh yeah, I mean, furniture's coming. Everything's coming in order. I will be thankful for everything that has been given to me. Like I said, I'm just overwhelmed right now.
My name is David, and I'm fairly new to Arkansas. I moved down here to Arkansas from Nebraska about a year and 14 months ago. And I worked in Nebraska at a company that was a very prosperous company, but the company elected to take its product out of the country, and so I'm here because of plant closure. Before I left Nebraska, I started out with the Nebraska workforce, and was just getting started with that whole program, and left, and they referred me down to the Arkansas workforce, and that's where I met Rose. It was wonderful to meet her and really get a chance to connect with someone who really cared. Since then, let me see, I've had a string of part-time jobs through different agencies. One lasted 4 months, one lasted for 3 months, one lasted for 2 weeks, one lasted for 3 weeks. But it was really helpful during those time periods to really come back to the WorkSource Center here in our Silent Springs. It is true that the skills that they try to help you with here are awesome. Working on the computers, working with Carol, working with Rose, working with Larry there in the office. They're very knowledgeable. They're very, very helpful, And yes, I'm looking for that one job that says, I want you. You are special, and I want to make you full-time. It hasn't happened yet. I'm still looking, and I'm applying every day, looking online. Rose is giving me a lot of help, a lot of resources to look at, different things that are new in the office. One of the programs is Torque, and they direct your interests to what you can do and what is up your alley to really help you look to get into your groove to get a job. It's not there yet, but it's working, and I'm just really hopeful and praying that God will indeed bring a job, and I'm really sure He will someday. And I wish other people hope as well as they go through the program too, because it is very, very good. Thank you.
And then final research is needed for clients who demonstrate a deficiency in skills and the ability after receiving all of the above resources that are available or the training that are available. There's still some issues that may be problems that has not been resolved by any of the other resources that we mentioned before. So we decided to do something different. We decided to work with one temporary agency that would allow an at-risk person to come in, find a client that would be able to find them a job and give them a chance to work and find out what those problems are that they were having. Come back to the table and say, okay, this is what we have to do to resolve that problem. So this agency with People Source coming to the workforce office and working with us and allowing us to do that, that was a very, very good opportunity for so many people that would have fallen through the cracks because they couldn't pass the urine test, they couldn't pass the background check, they didn't have a good work history, but they had a good able body and they were able to do a job. Just tell them what to do and they were able to do the job. So in addition to them hiring regular employees that would just go in and do a good job, they allowed us to do that research to see just how many people would be able to prove themselves and get an opportunity to have a regular job. And out of the 10 people that we sent to them, 9 of those people are working today. And the other person decided to go back to school. 100%. That's awesome, and I love it. Those are the ladies that made it work. Diane and Jennifer. They come to the office diligently to make sure that they get the applications, do the background checks, do everything they need to do for people that they're trying to hire, or to work with the other ones that are trying to get their lives together as well. And I just want to thank them for that. They're meeting with a client right now that they're getting ready to put to work, and I just thank them for their diligence. And that just basically says for the last 6 months, People Source has allowed clients with poor work histories to work on temporary assignments. There have been a few horror stories, and you're going to have that, you know, but you have a large successful rate as well. And so we want to just thank them for their services. The reason I said it's sometimes difficult for people to get the jobs that they need is because sometimes it's internal problems that they have. It could be family dramas that they had no way of starting. It's just family problems that come along. Illnesses, transportation problems, lack of skills, and the whole 9 yards. It doesn't matter what the problems are, but what that individual is willing to do to make their situation better. We can have all of the resources that we possibly can, but if a person does not utilize them and take advantage of them, there's really, not much we can do to help that individual. That's a young lady that was laid off from her job a couple of years ago. She didn't know how to speak English very well. So as one of the services that were available to her through the TAA program in our office, She was able to get her ESL certificate. Once she got that ESL certificate, she said, okay, let's go just a little further. So she got a medical assistant certificate from one of the local schools. And now she's working that job, and she is having the time of her life. She's happy with the decisions that she made and the effort that she put into getting that job. I have another young lady that has been working in our office through the TAA. The T program is the Transitional Employment Assistance Program, and it's for a parent that makes under $200 a month. And the reason that she's able to survive as much as she can is because she's living with her mom. But she came in the office without a GED, but diligently doing her homework and turning in her work. She finally got that GED, will be graduating in May. She also has qualified to go to school. She will be going to school in August. And the other day she found out that she has a job translating for other clients with the Department of Human Services. So she got that word the other day. And so the caption that I had on that, having a child is not the end of the world. Many times it can be the blessing that God has prepared for you. So she is a living witness of that fact. And so my hat goes off to Amber. Then we have this young man. He came in the office. He was enrolled in college. He was had a scholarship for school to play basketball. And of course, you know how things work out. He wasn't able to keep that scholarship going. So he was into looking for a job. He wanted a job with the airport to be a TSI employee. You know, the ones that check in people when they come in. Well, he filled out the application. Now, you know they go back all the way into your early childhood, with kindergarten, probably before that time. And they had to do that extensive background check, but they were constantly telling him to turn in this paperwork and do that and turn in this paperwork. And in the midst of that, he still had to work, so he had to take those little jobs that were coming to him, you know, maybe a week or 2 weeks or 3 months or whatever. But he did what he had to do to, you know, survive until he got that job. And that was the day he walked in my office with his uniform on. And I just had to take a picture because that was a success story that we went through with this young man, to see that if you are consistent and and decide that you're not going to let anything stop you for seeing your dream come true. And he's a living witness for that. So I just want to recap and let you know that there are resources available for any and everything. And if there are not anything, other resources that you need that we have not discussed at the workforce office or any place that you need them, come in. Let us know what the situation is. And if we don't know it, we'll find out what it is. And with us all working together, we can make sure that everybody experiences the American dream. Thank you so much for being here. Have a good evening.